called me, and I understand he has a, yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Matt. I'm not going to be able to talk, I guess, but I was simply going to say it was instrumental that the board helped and did it. Get started. All right, good to go.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the September 11th, 2023 meeting of the Town of Barnstable Planning Board. My name is Steve Robichaud. Tonight's meeting is held at Barnstable Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass., James H. Crocker Jr. Hearing Room on the second floor of Town Hall at 7 p.m. The meeting notice has been previously filed with the Town Clerk in accordance with Mass General Law. All application materials may be accessed through the Planning Board website or by contacting karen.herrand@town.barnstable.ma.us or calling 508-862-4064. I will now call the meeting to order and will introduce our board members and staff, starting with Matt.
Matthew Tague, good evening.
And Mary.
Mary Barry, good evening.
And Bob.
Bob Twist, good evening.
And Tim.
Good evening, Tim O'Neill.
Thank you. And our staff, Jim.
Good evening, Jim Cufford, Senior Planner, Planning and Development.
And Karen.
Good evening, Karen Herron, Planning and Development, Admin Assistant.
And again, my name is Steve Robichaud. Before we get started, obviously today being September 11th, 2023, the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attacks on our country, would like to just take a moment, if we could all just take a moment of silence in reflection of that day and everyone that it affected. Thank you. Moving on to our notice of recording. This meeting of August 28, 2023 is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, I will now inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make your presence known. Seeing none, we'll move on to the first section of this meeting, which is our general public comment. This is public comment not related to any agenda items this evening. Anyone seeking to make comment, please come forward at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on to our first item this evening, which is a subdivision. Tim?
Thank you. This is subdivision number 454, Whistleberry, Form M, Certificate of Completion. This is not a public hearing and does not need to be voted open or closed.
Thank you, Tim. And Jim, if we could have a quick summary of this item.
Absolutely, thank you. So this is, as Tim mentioned, this is subdivision 454, Whistleberry. Definitive subdivision. This is a long time coming. Some of the board members have been here and working through this project for many years. And this, as of late, the developer, applicant, and the town attorney's office, along with the planning and development office, have been working to get this to a resolution. And I believe tonight we have that resolution. Attorney McLaughlin does submit a letter that I'll quickly read it to the record. Dear members of the board, with regrets and apologies, I will not be attending tonight as I am dealing with a long-standing back issue that requires me to stay close to home this evening. Attorney Brian Wall will be present to support and request to close out this file with a vote to authorize the execution of the Form M. I enthusiastically join in that request. In support, I submit the letter of town consultant Roger Parsons, formerly the town engineer with the Barnstable DPW. Roger has been instrumental in identifying the work list necessary to complete the project per board regulations in effect at the time of the original subdivision was approved. Roger was also instrumental in tracking progress, suggesting resolutions to the field issues, and most importantly, being a persuasive voice of reason to bring a variety of parties with differing views to practical considerations that produce the result we can celebrate tonight. I also want to thank planning staff who over the years worked diligently to find solutions for the subdivision. Our late town attorney Bob Smith, in commenting 30 years ago via memo to the file, noted the utter lack of consensus necessary to resolve seemingly intractable differences among the parties, and he recommended that the file be closed. It's through good judgment and practice of the planning board, the confidence of the president of the Whistleberry Homeowner Association, and the efforts of attorneys Brian Wall and Michael Schultz that I am able to recommend the Form M be signed and the town's involvement in this matter successfully be terminated. Respectfully, Charles McLaughlin, Senior Counsel, Town of Barnstable Legal Department. And then we also have a letter submitted by who previously mentioned, Roger Parsons, consultant to the town. Regarding the same subdivision, dear Chairman Robichaud, please be advised that all physical construction detailed in the development agreement relevant to the above subdivision that has been satisfactorily completed. I would therefore recommend that the Form M before you be executed and the file on the matter closed. That's all I have for you.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Thought both those letters were great, very concise and succinct, and appreciate everyone's work on this. The applicant, again, as mentioned, is here if the board has any questions. Any questions, Matt?
No, I just do want to commend the town staff and the Whistleberry Owners Association. This is a very long time coming, and I actually worked on this 9-10 years ago, and I'm glad to see this come to amicable resolution. And thank you for working with everybody.
Yeah, well said. Mary?
All set, thank you.
Bob?
I'm good, thanks.
Tim?
All set, thank you.
Same here. Could we have a motion?
I move that we endorse Form M as submitted.
Jim, do you need it read exactly like it is on the annotated?
Yeah, it's actually Attorney McLaughlin's helped draft that one, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll retract that motion. Let me try that again. The motion, I offer motion to endorse Form M Certificate of Completion for the definitive subdivision plan number 454 entitled Whistleberry Definitive Subdivision of Marston's Mills, and to authorize and instruct the planning board's agent, Roger Parsons, to certify full performance of all technical construction and repair requirements of the 2019 settlement agreement as amended.
Thank you. In a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mary. All those in favor? Matt?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Matter passes. Congratulations. Thank you again. All right, moving along, general correspondence. This week we did not have any general correspondence. Chapter 91 notices, 183 Bay Street, Osterville. Baselli, expansion of existing float. Katuitt Bay, maintenance dredging by DPW. Staff updates, LCP. Jim?
I'll just be brief. LCP plan, next meeting is October 12th of the local comprehensive planning committee. And the weekly recap. Just wanted to mention that we have been successful in achieving a grant from the state for the Hyannis Harbor Master Plan, and that's for approximately $200,000 to evaluate the Hyannis Harbor area. As you may recall, during the form-based zoning discussion, we left the harbor mostly intact, and as it's essentially a separate district in and of itself with a lot of unique qualities. So we're going to take a close look at that and bring back some recommendations and strategies, hopefully in the coming year with that grant. So excited to start working on that. And just to mention that with the form-based zoning, we've actually, again, had a number of successful projects begin to start to materialize and come forward for permitting. And a number of them have gone through informal site plan, and two of them, 307 Main Street and 201 Main Street, are now before the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic Commission. And the next meeting is next Wednesday for 307 Main Street, and the first Wednesday in October for 201 Main Street. Thank you.
It's great, Jim. Thank you. It's nice to see the town getting some momentum with these new projects with the form-based code, and hopefully can keep that momentum going with the Hyannis Harbor Master Plan.
I just have one question.
Yeah, Mary.
Jim, this is for you. On the master plan for the harbor, is that also going to be through our consultant, or is that part of the consultant, or is that an internal?
So it'll be a hybrid. We will be looking to procure a consultant for that.
Okay.
Likely won't be the same consultant we've been using for the form-based. I think we're looking for something more of like a climate resiliency twist to it.
That's great.
So we'll be hopefully putting out an RFP here in the coming weeks.
Great, thank you.
And that plan, Jim, may lead to more zoning potential changes to this board.
Right. Yeah. Potentially zoning. Potentially those design guidelines we were looking at. I know we're close to getting potentially some proposed design guidelines adopted, but now looking closer at the harbor, it might involve twisting it a little bit and creating some new features, maybe even its own little district there for design features. As I think many of you who've joined us in the walks could see that there's a very dramatic transition from Main Street to the harbor that we might want to capture in some way.
Yeah, well said. It'll be interesting to see it come together. Let's see, approval of minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the August 28th, 2023 draft minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2023.
Thank you, Tim. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. And future meetings, September 25th, 2023, and October 23rd, 2023, both at 7 p.m. Anything else from, was that not correct? You're shaking your head? Oh, all right. Sorry, I just saw Jim shaking his head. Anything else before we adjourn from staff or members? Good to go. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. We are clear. Thank you.